call the meeting to order for August 26th, and the time is 5:31.
Do a roll call of the members. Jenneru is absent. Leaders.
Present.
Pierce is absent. Herder.
Here.
And Anderson.
Present.
Okay.
Hi, Karen.
Hi, Lan.
Okay, you've had a chance to read the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes or make corrections?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Karen, would you like to second Lynn's motion to approve the minutes?
I will, but I can't hear Pam
Okay.
or whoever was talking.
That was Stella. I'm going to move you a little bit closer.
Okay.
There you go.
So she seconded?
Yep.
Jason seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the same? Motion carries.
I'm going to read a statement for the chairperson before the public hearings begin. Public hearings will be conducted pursuant to the board's rules and procedures adopted May 26, 1988. The board will first hear the report of the planning director on detailed information and observations regarding the request, if not done so in written form prior to the hearing. Next, the board will take the testimony of the applicant and his or her witnesses. Upon completion of the applicant's testimony, the chair will call upon members of the audience wishing to make a statement concerning the request. Persons in favor of the request shall be heard first, followed by those who are opposed to it. At any time during the presentation of testimony, members of the board may interrupt to ask questions or make comments on what has been said. Upon completion of the testimony, the applicant will be allowed to make a closing statement to the board. Upon completion of the applicant's closing statement, the chair will entertain a motion to close public hearing on the request. After the public hearing has been closed, the board will then hear the recommendation, if any, of the planning director. Upon completion of all discussion, the chair will entertain a motion of members of the board regarding the disposition of the application. Each speaker addressing the board shall step forward to the podium and state their name, address before proceeding with the testimony or evidence. The chair would ask that you spell your last name. The board shall not be bound by strict rules of evidence, but does reserve the right to exclude evidence or testimony that it may deem to be irrelevant, immaterial, incompetent, or unduly repetitious. As chair, the chair will rule on all questions relating to the admissibility of evidence, which may be overruled by the majority of the board. The board may grant continuances in case of good cause shown to any interested party who has entered his appearance. The board may at any time request a continuation of the hearing for the purpose of giving further notice, taking further evidence, gathering further information, touring the proposed site, or for other such reasons as the board may find sufficient. In such case, we shall state the specific reasons for the continuance and set a date, time, and place on when the matter will be continued. All official actions of the board will be made at a public hearing by motion made, seconded, and polling of the membership. If conditions are imposed, such conditions shall be included in the motion or amendment thereto. Our final decision will be prepared in writing and will be a part of the public record of the board. Once this board has reached a decision on the case, that decision shall be final. Section 335.18 Iowa Code states that any person or persons jointly or severely aggravated by any decision of the Board of Adjustment under the provisions of Chapter 335, or any taxpayer or any officer, department, board, or bureau of the county may present to a court of record a petition duly verified setting forth that such decision was illegal, in whole or in part specifying the grounds for legality. Such petitions shall be presented to the court within 30 days after the filing of the decision of the office of the board.
Upon hearing that, I would ask for a motion to open up the public hearing on case number ZV 2020-10.
Karen?
I make that motion.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The public hearing is now open. I ask for Mr. Steffen to come forward.
Or his representative,
Or his
because I think she's going to.
Can I take my mask off, or does that, that probably help?
You can't, you're 6 feet away, you're good.
My name is Julie Steffen, Steffen, and I'm with my husband Blaine Steffen, representing our case for an addition to our home. I'm not sure, do I just kind of go into that, or? Okay, so based on what information you have received, what we are looking for is a variance to extend and add on a garage onto the north side of our property. There is that setback of 25 feet, which the garage is big enough to go past that, which we would come within 7 feet of the adjacent property, which is farmland. And we have spoken with Pilling Farms, Dean Pilling, and I think you've gotten a copy of his signed agreement that said that, that would be okay to be that close to the property. So today we were asking that we get a 13-foot variance to be able to add that garage onto our home. One of the biggest reasons for that is the way that the house sits, and it sits kind of on a slope on the higher end of the property. About 2/3 of our property is in a flood zone except for where the house is at. We plan on adding an addition to the south side of the property where our current garage is at. And one of the biggest reasons for moving our garage to the north side is to allow us even access into the house. Right now, we either come in the basement through very steep old stairs, if it's an old farmhouse, or we have to walk around the outside, and we have our in-laws and my parents that it's becoming more and more difficult for them to actually make it up those stairs. If we were to break a leg or do something, it would be difficult, especially in the wintertime, to have to either walk outside or walk up those stairs. And so we're looking for an opportunity to have an even entrance for the safety of us and the safety of our parents. And, it's been difficult. We don't have any grandparents anymore, but it has been a case where they've had difficulty getting into our home. So we want to make sure that our parents don't have that same issue, and we plan on staying in the home for many years to come. So that is why we would like to do that. We also have an issue going to the east because of the 75-foot setback. The house is already that far from the road. We can't go to the south because that's where we're going to be putting our addition. And to the west from there, that is where our plumbing from our well comes in. That's where our septic is at, is going to be moved to as well. And then our electrical also comes in that way. And then also on the west side, not only is a 75-foot setback, but we also found that that's also where our cable line comes in from the Grizzle Communications. They marked the ground for us, so that's also buried under there. So we're kind of limited on where we can actually build, and the north side is about it for us. So that's why we're asking for a variance today.
Anybody have any questions? Any further questions of her? Okay, is anybody else want to speak in favor?
We can add in that we did get the one written sign piece from the neighboring landowner that did say that they were in favor of the request. We did not receive any written opposed pieces to this.
Okay, so I assume there's no one opposed here since we're all here. Karen, do you have any questions?
No.
Okay, I'll ask for a motion to close the public hearing.
So move.
Second.
Okay, can I have the staff's recommendation, or does anybody have any questions more? No? Okay, let's do the recommendation for the staff then.
Based on the information that was provided to the planning department, which I would definitely credit these property owners because they were very thorough and went through the code and gave line by line their justifications for each one of those points. When we do not normally see that. A lot of times people just come in and say just cause. And so this was one of those times where the property owners really went through and gave the board good justification to approve what would be our recommendation to approve the application based on the following findings of fact. And that would be the topography, septic locations, current, future, well location, buried electrical water lines, and the fact the majority of the properties in the floodplain area. And speaking to the floodplain area, we worked very hard to get Pottawattamie County into the community rating system. Part about being in the community rating system is to ensure that we do not encourage or push any kind of development closer to any flood area that is there. So this is, they took into real consideration, making sure that this was, the portion of this was that we were to specifically stay out of the floodplain was for one of these reasons, and prohibit, the floodplain area subject to the property, prohibit the construction of the addition and the required side yard setback. In addition to the proposed side yard setback is not merely a convenience. It would not impair the general purpose or intent of the zoning ordinance, and it would not impair the supply of light and air to adjacent properties. It will not increase hazards to the property, and it will not diminish property values. It will not increase congestion of the public roads, nor would it impair public health, safety, or the general welfare of residents. So,
It's pretty thorough.
It is very thorough.
I also thought it was very thorough.
Yeah.
I did too.
Yes.
I've never seen anybody go point by point
Yeah.
like that.
That's pretty good.
Is there any further discussion among the members?
Karen?
No.
No, none from me either.
Okay. All right, so can I ask for a second or a motion?
I would make a motion to approve this.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
All right.
All right.
it's been approved.
Public hearing
Thank you.
closed.
We have no other business for the board tonight.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Ooh, I'll second that one.
Okay, good. Thanks, Karen.
It's been moved
Good
and
to see you,
seconded.
Lynn.
Aye.